For December the 3rd, 2021, we talk about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Galaxy Truckers, and Spiritfarer. Welcome to level 395. My name is Cole Ross.
I'm Dennis Furia.
I'm David Weissmith.
I'm Ben Merkel.
And you are listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. Back after Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody who celebrates. And if you don't celebrate or didn't celebrate, I hope you had a good weekend anyway. Yeah, took the week off, which was nice. And now we're here. I'm spinning. I'm just repeating myself. It's good to be back.
You are still in a turkey stupor.
No, I didn't have the. You know, I leaned a little bit more on the ham this year. My brother made the ham, and it was really good. The turkey was a touch dry for me, so
it's easy to do that with turkey.
Yeah.
For our major national holiday, let's pick the hardest thing to get right.
Yeah. Let's.
To be fair, it is a new world animal, so yeah.
The turkeys today resemble nothing of the turkeys of yesteryear. Let's pick the thing that if you overcook it, it's inedible, and if you undercook it, it's poison.
The thing I find funny is the fact that they have the turkey legs at all of the Ren fairs when that's like something you definitely couldn't have gotten back then.
Well, why the legs? Would the legs not have been that big, or? Well, because
they're
they
a new world animal.
Yeah, kind of like when you see like depictions of medieval stuff and they have potatoes. It's like no,
right, exactly.
Yeah. I don't have any like Thanksgiving stories. It was all the usual stuff. So I will. David, how about you? What you been up to?
Not a whole hell of a lot. I bought way too much fabric on Black Friday.
Okay. Do you have like a site that you go to, or is that like you hit up the Joanne?
Went to Joanne in this case.
Gotcha.
So the one up in Mansfield actually ended up having significantly different stock than the one at home.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it do.
Yeah.
And so picked up a lot of that. Got some like bright aqua fur.
Okay.
And some faux leather, stuff like that.
Are you a furry now? You're in a furry suit now, aren't you?
Right now.
David,
on the podcast scene, no one knows you're a furry.
Nobody knows we're anything. That is the beauty of the medium. It is very intimate, but also there is a distance. This is hyper local.
People start to suspect when every sentence contains a woo.
That could go a number of different directions. David, do you remember that parking lot by the Burger King, out in front of the Joann's and what used to be the Hills and is now a Burlington Co-Factory? Do you remember that just being like carpeted with seagulls 24/7?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's not anymore. The seagulls are gone. That happened a couple of years ago, and I have no fucking idea why.
Oh yeah, I'm completely convinced they were there due to some sort of like Deep One ritual going on or something.
Right. Somebody was doing something. Yeah. Almost sounds like a seagull call. Yeah. Okay. No, so you got some good fabric deals. That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, did any of them have extensive feathers, and maybe you got the seagulls turned into a fabric?
That could be a possibility.
Hey, free feathers. Small, shitty feathers, but nonetheless. Nice. Ben, how about you?
Yeah, I had a pretty good week. I went to Portland for Thanksgiving, so made a bunch of food, ate a bunch of food, drank a bunch of beer. now here we are doing none of those things. So.
This is
rare. It's a good time.
This is rare for me. I do have a beer. I do have one of these.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey.
What you drinking? What you beving on?
I am beving on. This is from Bell's Brewery. It is their.
Nice.
It's called Official. They say it's their official hazy IPA. And it's good. It tastes like an IPA.
They make very few not great beers, so
yeah,
that's awesome.
Love Bell's. Yeah. Well, that's cool. What'd you make for Thanksgiving in Portland?
I did this like a week ago. So like after the podcast last week, or no, wait, we didn't have one last week. So I did this yesterday in place of the podcast last week. I made like these, like they're more like Christmas cookies, but they were like these. They're called like millionaire bars, where it's like caramel, chocolate, and like I don't know, crust of some kind. Like,
okay,
but it's like way too much butter per piece that you're eating. So
yeah.
Kind of see the behind the scenes. But I got to make caramel, which I hadn't really made before, so that was fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did it work out for you? Like when I've tried doing that, it seized. So
I was very worried that it wasn't browning after like 10 or 15 minutes, but then it did, and so it was all good.
Oh, that looks really tasty.
So you tried it and you had a seizure?
No. If you're not super careful, like doing anything with like browning sugar or crystallizing it, something chemically happens, and you can't get the. It's akin to burning. You can't get the consistency that you need for something creamy like caramel.
Oh,
yeah. It's just a matter
There's also extensive strobe light usage in the creation of caramel. So.
Well, of course, yeah.
While playing Cyberpunk, unpatched.
Unpatched, the only way. Oh man, those look really tasty. Huh? How about you, Dennis?
My Thanksgiving was good. We had, I believe I mentioned on the show, turkey chili instead of a traditional turkey, and that worked out really well.
Nice.
Crumbled a bunch of cornbread into that. It was delicious.
It is really hard to go wrong with chili.
Mm-hmm. And then we both on Thanksgiving went to my parents, and then the day after had my siblings out to our house. And both times my kids were hanging out with their cousins, which they don't get to do often because right now they live out of town. And man, does it get loud.
Oh yeah.
Like two boys is nowhere near the decibel level of three boys together.
Oh man, it's geometric. Yeah.
There's a tipping point that it almost feels like I was at a loud bar all night trying to shout over the noise.
Yeah.
But it was good times, good to catch up with everyone. And got away with an inordinate amount of leftovers as well, which I can't complain about.
Cool.
The star dessert, since we're doing that, was my sister described it as kind of a pumpkin upside down cake.
Okay.
So it was like pumpkin pie filling-esque, but it was in a pan with the crust over the top. You cut into it like cake, and it just had a little extra something to it that was really good. So it's a new fun way to eat pie, which might have just been upside down, but I think there was more going on, and I approve either way.
Nice. Yeah, anything that shakes it up like a big just a big pumpkin pie. Yeah, it's a little. It's not for me.
Mm-hmm. By the way, on separate occasions, I've had a bunch of different people talk to me about the Bob Evans Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner. Like apparently, a bunch of people went and just ordered it in, and that was really good. So that's the stage we're at.
That might be the trick. I could believe it. They probably have it down to a science.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, my dessert on Thanksgiving is always my family makes in addition to the usual stuff, they make a really good chocolate chip pie. It's real. It's real rich. You only want to do like a small slice of it with some whipped cream. But yeah, no, it's good, especially when it's fresh.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we've got games to talk about, I imagine. One imagines. So I think we should do the regular kind of show. What with the grind, the multiplayer, and the end boss. And just for once, let's get started with
the grind.
The grind, where we talk
about boss.
That would be once.
That
the
would
first
be
time.
yeah. That's what I get for changing it up.
How dare you stay away from the script, Cole?
The grind, where we talk about the things we have been playing over the past period of time or so. Who has a new one?
Oh gosh, I do have a new one.
Okay, you volunteered.
Yeah, so this is a video game version of a physical game.
Okay.
And before you get excited, Ben, no, it's not Gloomhaven. You're gonna perk up. No, I tried the video game version of Galaxy Trucker.
Galaxy Trucker.
Yeah, okay. Ben, I thought correctly that you were familiar with it. Yeah. So it is first a ship building, and then it is a ship racing game, themed about kind of being a galaxy trucker, shipping supplies across the universe, and getting into hijinks. And in the physical game, it comes with a bunch of tiles that all kind of connect like a pipe maze puzzle. And you can put them together in a bunch of different configurations. And the first phase, you're building a ship of those tiles as fast as you can. And then the second phase, you're trying to take that ship across the galaxy. With the rationalization being that's how you deliver supplies, is you build a ship out of the supplies, and then you drive it across the galaxy, and then it's dismantled for parts on the other side, which I appreciate. I was like, that makes a kind of sense.
It's the Shipment of Theseus.
And we have a title already.
Yeah. I want to emphasize, this is the unique mechanic of the game, is you turn over a timer, and it's 30 seconds, build a ship, go. And the bigger you build a correct one, that you have a better ship than the other person. So you're just frantically putting shit together. But then there's a period where it's okay, does this functionally make sense? And if anything's wrong with what you've built, then those pieces come off, and you pick what side of the ship you're going to take.
Ooh.
Yeah.
In the game version, it just will not allow you to place illegal pieces, which does streamline things slightly.
Yeah, that sounds like it would make I don't know, my strategy in building under a limited time would be very different if there was automatic interface checking for that.
Now, you can still place it in a way that screws you up and, seals off a part of the grid that you're trying to work with, or just kind of makes it so you can't place useful pieces. But yeah, it's still a race. And then adding to all of that, the first person to take a token starts a timer for everyone else, that everyone else then just has, I think it's 10 more seconds or something like that to finish their ships. And then who finishes when determines your starting order. So not only does finishing first put the screws to everyone else, but then you get to start in front.
Okay.
Which is fun. But then the way the mechanics work, the parts that you were able to bolt on your ship, you can use as resources or to get special things or defend yourself as you're traveling across the galaxy. But any place that you put a tile so that a connector is facing outwards makes you vulnerable. And if anything hits that outward-facing connector, it will knock that piece off your ship.
Okay.
And so there's kind of that tension between, okay, this is a special supply container. I can hold a lot in this, but the only way I can put it on my ship is facing, with a connector facing outward.
Right.
And so then I could invest to fill it up with stuff, only to have it knocked off by a meteorite partway through. All under a time limit, as Ben said. So that was it's kind of a fun tension and frantic in that first phase, in a really cool way. So then the second phase, like I said, you just there's 8 rounds, and each round has an event. I got major FTL vibes, except you don't choose your path. There's just one set of cards that you flip over.
Yeah.
And it's pulled from a random deck each time, but depending on what you get, you may get attacked by pirates. You may have to fly through a meteorite storm, shower, I guess. I forget when it's in space, it's a meteorite, and when it's in the atmosphere, it's a meteor.
Other way around.
Other way around. There we go. Stalagmite, stalactite.
So it's meteorite shower?
It's magma.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's cool looking. That's what it is. There's also, you can find abandoned ships, but you have to invest pilots into them, or you can visit planets to trade for supplies. And it's all then scored at the end. So it's a point collection game.
Yeah.
You get more points for finishing first, but it's 4 points for first, 3 points for second, and on down. And so the advantage of that was really marginal given the ways you can get points otherwise. And the game was very much in the tutorial framed as this race across the galaxy.
Okay.
But it almost always felt better to slow down and get all the things than to
Right.
try to finish first. Because that was at most going to get you 3 points up on whoever was in fourth. But whoever is in fourth has probably stopped for 6 points worth of stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like there are tactical decisions from beginning to end on this. Like even, if starting with a suboptimal ship, but starting early gets you in position to make up for that probably. So, and yeah, you can probably, and also, you screw over the other people in their build phase. Yeah, this sounds neat.
It was really fun. Now, I only played versus the computer, and that in and of itself, because there's still a score mechanic and see how high you can get, felt fun. And then there's kind of a campaign to it where you go through a series of missions, and I think, I haven't gotten that far in it yet, but I think each time you get further, the deck of cards that you fly through, quote unquote, gets more difficult.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a cool way to kind of progress or up the difficulty over time.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's Galaxy Trucker.
Is this on PC?
Yep. This was gifted to me on Steam.
Yeah,
Nice.
it looks like it's on mobile as well. Yeah, it seems like it would be fun on iPad. I
can see that working.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
very
It's
curious about
also in paper on board game.
I would not play this on an iPhone. I don't know if it's only on iPad, but
Yeah,
I think especially the shipbuilding would get really difficult.
Yeah,
on something
doing
that
like
small.
pinching and zooming and stuff like that. Yeah.
But yeah, they pretty liberally keep the board game elements. So there's places where you see dice roll, there's places where you see a deck of cards and stuff like that. It streamlines to digital UI in the places it makes sense, while keeping those kind of representations where it helps you keep a grasp on what's going on. So I appreciated all of that.
Nice. So it's not ashamed of the fact that it was once a board game.
No, and it actually, as you're choosing what tutorial to take, there's I've never played Galaxy Trucker, I've played the physical version of Galaxy Trucker, or I want to skip straight to playing.
Right.
And so they customize even what they teach you based on if you have experience with the physical one.
Nice. No, that sounds cool.
That's a new one.
Yeah. I don't have any other questions. That just sounds like fun. And I've been a fan of Free Space or Privateer, or any of those ones where it's you are moving shipments across space. I never want to fight. I just want to navigate space quickly and deliver shipments on time. So
In 6 parsecs, perhaps.
yeah.
Perhaps.
Stuart Gordon Space Truckers.
I'm a trucker, not a fighter.
Yeah, do Stuart Gordon Space Truckers, or that's one of the things I like about the original Alien. I think that is a cool concept. So,
Yeah.
Have you by chance tried EVE Online?
I have not tried EVE Online. I am
Because
generally
that is definitely a very viable thing in EVE Online.
I'm generally wary of multiplayer, but I understand.
Do you like that enough to make it your life, Cole?
No. I've got other things that are my life. Yeah.
Which, ironically, are still video games.
I mean, a good deal of them, yeah.
If we want to make this an EVE Online podcast, Cole can try EVE Online. Otherwise, best stay away.
Yeah. I just said, you want a light touch. I'm not so much worried about the online multiplayer side of it, but the optimization side of things. You gotta be real careful. What else you played?
I've continued playing all the competitive games that I talked about. 2 weeks ago, and have felt like I've got my feet under me enough in both Wild Rift and Apex Legends to venture into ranked.
Ooh.
That's one with a tag team, right?
What's that?
That's one we can tag team, right?
Wild Rift or
Apex Legends in particular.
Okay.
So I'll talk about the ranked side because I don't think we played ranked, and then we can talk about the non-ranked stuff as well. Both of them, I was going to say, usually getting into ranked is very fraught and scary, and I feel like, oh no, it's just going to be toxic and full of try-hard, angry people. It's going to be sweaty. But in both cases, for those two games, it felt like a breath of fresh air. And I think the reason was in Wild Rift, it like isolated down to the people who felt confident in the flow of the game. And League of Legends is such a complicated game that goes through all these different kind of phases of what you're supposed to be doing and what the kind of etiquette between teammates is. And going into ranked just kind of pairs down to the people who understand that a little better, I think. And so far from toxic, it just felt like I could trust my teammates to be doing what they're supposed to be doing a little bit more, which I appreciated. And then Apex Legends, I think it felt like a breath of fresh air because it brought everyone down to my skill level.
Right.
And I've been winning games at a much higher rank or a much higher rate in ranked because it is pitching me against people who are actually my skill level, which just tells me that against the general pool of people that are playing, I am definitely in the bottom part of that skill level.
That's good. Their matchmaking works.
Yeah, but I guess nice to see ranked do what it's supposed to, which is get you into more even matches. And in a battle royale game where there's just that many more people that one good player can just kind of stomp. Ranked has a bigger effect. So I felt more evenly matched in ranked versus like everyone was trying way harder, which they might have been. It was just people that were at my skill level trying hard.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, David, any thoughts about Apex Legends? Because I think were you coming to it for the first time when we played?
Yeah.
So give me your reactions.
Honestly, I'm not sure I get it.
Apex Legends. So battle royale character based. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we played a number of games. 10-ish maybe.
Yeah, they went fairly quick. So not quite 10, but definitely closer to 10 than to 5.
Yeah, and I think 5 to 6 of them. We all got killed before I got a weapon. Most of the remaining ones, I got killed by someone I didn't see, and then the last one, I shot the person once or twice. So I don't know. It struck me as being the cycle with more ganking.
That honestly is not a bad description. Well, especially I think what we talked about when we were deciding hey, where are you going to drop at the start of a battle royale game is the worst feeling is to drop somewhere far away from everyone and spend 30 minutes looting without seeing a person and then just getting wrecked by the first person you see. There is something fun about looting, but it's not fun enough to offset, feeling like you just had no chance.
Yeah, you want to loot to an end. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The theory, anyway, and David, you could tell me if this worked, was that by dropping into more populated areas where you're going to see action faster, you get comfortable with the combat early on, so that you are ready for it when it shows up. And you kind of go through those learning iterations faster, which it sounds like, you were learning and getting better. It was just, it feels bad to die so early in the game consistently.
Yeah, I think my thing was, I'm not super sold on. So I felt like the time to kill was maybe a little low. And then I'm not super sold. I feel like dropping with weapons just seems like better gameplay than dropping without.
Something to start with. Are there games that do that?
The cycle?
Okay, yeah. Well, the cycle in that version doesn't exist anymore. I don't know if you saw that.
No, so I mean...
Yeah. They made it a Tarkov knockoff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they killed the original version, which sucks because I liked that version as well.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, it struck me as... I don't know. It did very little for me, to the point that I wonder... It actually posted this somewhere, although I don't think I got a response. I kind of wonder if I'm missing something. But
I mean, so do you feel like this is a problem with Apex Legends, or is it a problem with battle royale shooters in general for you?
see, I don't know, because like it wasn't a problem, like I said, with the cycle, but that's the only other battle royale game I've ever played.
Right.
And
This could also, I'm going to reveal, I guess, a dirty secret that might have been impacting things now that I think about it. The guy that we teamed with was someone I played with before, and he's like a platinum level player. So we might have been getting into more difficult lobbies now that I think about it. Oops, sorry about that.
Oh no, that's cool. Yeah, I think the thing for me also was I don't know. Like I think maybe part of it was I just feel like the cycle is a lot more interesting game. It didn't seem like there was the strategic element of this one in terms of like your only verb is like shoot other people.
Mm-hmm.
Cycle has that diversity of goals to it.
Say that again?
Cycle has a diversity of had a diversity of goals as well.
Right. And I think also because of that, the weapons were designed. There was sort of a balance to the weapons in that like a weapon could be designed to be dangerous to your opponent without necessarily being a particularly effective at killing someone.
Okay.
So it could be a thing where, like, for example, a machine gun that shoots explosive bullets. It's very easy for someone to hit with it. So, can be balanced so that its ammo is such that it's not particularly easy to kill someone unless you're very good. So the end result is it's not overpowered, but if you go up against someone, there's a very serious risk that you take damage that could lead to someone else killing you.
Okay.
And I felt like that kind of balance of power wasn't there.
And that angle on something only makes sense if you're in a game where, hey, I'm going to not take this fight and go do something else is a viable angle. Right. Whereas I think in most battle royale games, it's like that is what I do here. I fight.
Right.
Did you, not that you'll remember map names at this point, but did you play any games on Stormpoint instead of World's Edge?
Yeah, I think we played about half and half.
Okay, so Stormpoint is a bigger map, so theoretically it should be more spread out. And it also has mobs in it, so NPC characters, just like in the cycle, that you can go and clear those, and they will drop rare loot, and they will give you crafting materials. So I'd be interested, maybe if you decide to play again, if we play Stormpoint and focused on getting some mobs at the start, that would have more of that feel to it.
Yeah, that would be interesting. The other thing I found just disappointing, just because like it's very confusing to me, is why they made a game set in the Titanfall universe without the Titanfall parkour system.
Yeah,
like
there is the combat slide that feels good.
Right, but like I feel like the game just almost in all ways would probably be better with like an interesting movement system.
And that's what, wall running and what else?
Yeah, mainly just different forms of wall running.
Yeah.
And it's especially weird because like a lot of the characters have the jetpacks that are what you use for that in Titanfall, but you just can't use them.
That's a disappointment.
Mm-hmm. One of the newer characters, I think, is literally a character from Titanfall called Valkyrie. Mm-hmm. Does that name ring a bell from your Titanfall experience?
Yeah.
Okay, so she is in the game, and her kind of special ability is having flight with her jetpack in limited capacity. So they put it in just for one specific character.
That was, I would say, the other thing that was kind of a turnoff was the fact that you didn't have access to all the characters in such a game that's kind of built around toxic competition. Making a an unfair playing ground seems kind of questionable.
That is fair. However, I've watched some like high level competitive Apex on Twitch, and there are a good number of teams that are only characters that you have unlocked from the start.
Oh yeah, like I'm sure it's viable and maybe even optimal, but I mean, still, it seems like a poor choice to me. I don't know.
It feels bad to have stuff behind a paywall.
Yeah, like especially, like I said, especially in something that's like that type of directly competitive environment.
Yeah. And also the variety is the variety of characters is one of the selling points of the game too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They do have, I do have to say, they do have very cool character designs. The appearance and the shout outs and the abilities are all very cool. Even if I play apparently the worst character or whatever. But I don't know. Is that still the thing? I know at one point that character was just despised.
Well, Wraith was the character you played? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is kind of known as the stereotypical Twitch streamer character.
Mm-hmm.
The character that is most likely to ignore the team and just go try to do something cool looking and get themselves killed and then leave immediately.
Glory
content creator character.
Yeah.
It would be in Overwatch. It would be the Hanzo, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Filthy Hanzo main.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I just wanted the ability to like have it warn me if someone was trying to snipe me.
Yeah, that is helpful.
No.
I have to say a character I unlocked since we played together is Loba, who she is like a support character that is like a black market dealer is her thing.
Oh, cool.
And her passive is you can see epic or higher tier loot through walls. Like you see just the glowing outline of it in a wide radius around you. And it is hard to articulate how nice it is to be able to just be like, okay, here's where the important stuff is. I don't need to open all these containers. I can just run to the important stuff.
Nice. Yeah, no, I could see that. I like I have no idea about like abilities, but just in terms of like, I don't know, liking the cut of their jib. Who's the guy that has like the Raven familiar?
Oh yeah, that's Bloodhound.
Yeah, I can't tell. He's not a robot, correct? He's just like wears clothing that you can't see any of his skin.
Right, canonically a non-binary character. So they
cool.
Which is something like it is the voice actor, the developer, and the publisher have all like confirmed that like completely canon and supported.
Nice, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely I don't know the characters yet, but like you can definitely tell there's a lot of different personality like that. So like I don't know. I feel like this is going to be the game that probably I'm going to wait until they do the like League of Legends and like make a TV show out of it.
I could see that happening, especially with the success of Arcane.
This is EA, right?
This is Respawn. I forget who publishes. Yeah, published by Electronic Arts.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, so I feel like that's kind of my thing is like it's definitely a good game. I'm not sure if it's my thing, but like yeah, it's definitely a good game, and I'd be interested to hear from you. To me, it looks like by far the highest production value of any of the Call of Duty Battle Royale genre. Is that accurate with, I know you've played a lot more than I have.
I would say yes, and not just talking about graphics and stylistically, but they do all of these kind of small UI or quality of life touches that just show a depth of thought about what the game should be or how people are going to be interacting with it that I didn't see in other battle royales. And the thing it's infamous for, or infamous has a negative connotation. The thing it's famous for is the ping system, and just what you ping is always very granularly considered, and it's easy to give very detailed tactical information in the middle of a fight without needing a mic if you don't want.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, Apex Legends. Was that all you had, Dennis?
That is, yeah. I feel like that's a good pivot over to David if he's got anything else.
Yeah. What else you got, David?
I've been continuing on with Warframe, which won't surprise anyone. I completed the faction grind for the faction that is basically the Orokin, the precursors that kind of got infested. And it's very entertaining because it straight up is like the the secret all along was the power of family, which is just really weird to see in a setting where, like, other than that, like the story is like, this family that straight up got like infected with Zerg virus.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then having the ending just be like super, I don't know, Hallmark cardy is kind of funny.
Sounds incongruous at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, it's well done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see where they go with a lot of this. Partially because the Orokin were, in the backstory were just horrible, horrible people. And so I'm interested to see if any of that, like, if they play up, kind of what is, how do these people go on to, like, live their life in a universe that forgot about them?
Mm-hmm.
All those sorts of things. The other thing that's, I might have mentioned before, they're currently running an event where basically the ability to unlock endgame gear, the specific endgame gear you can unlock, normally cycles on like something like a 2 to 3 month rotation. And they're running an event now where basically it's instead cycling on a 1 week rotation. Okay. So you have a lot less time to get the things, but you have, you can very quickly, it's kind of designed to get over the thing where, like, people that have been playing forever have a really big advantage on people who are newer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of interesting. The other thing that's kind of fun is the NPC that they have introduced that you're getting these from is okay. I feel like every time I talk about Warframe, it just gets into like Warframe is crazy sauce.
Okay.
But it's basically a member of the other mostly extinct precursor race called the Dax, which are kind of the were the warrior slave race of the Orokin.
Okay.
And so it's basically her just like selling off all of her loot from back in the day.
Okay.
And it's, I don't know, it's just really fun. The character is super horny, which is really funny.
Again, seems incongruous.
That's one of the kind of silly things about Warframe is the degree to which it kind of has the Overwatch, like, the fan base is kind of horny, but also the fact that all of the characters' designs are super alien.
Okay.
Which is just kind of, I don't know, it's a very silly kind of fun part of the community, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Yeah. So I don't know. Warframe is Warframe.
Warframe continues to be Warframe.
Exactly.
It feels like you have new content to talk about every time you talk about it, though. Like, if I think of like Rocket League or Call of Duty, like after half a year of playing it, you're just like, yep, same game, nothing new.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely do a great job of adding in tons of stuff. And they're about to release. I forget. In a month or two. Their next big story mission, and those traditionally have been quite good and fairly impactful. So I'm interested to see what fresh craziness they have in store.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, on the Steam sale, I picked up a game called Barotrauma.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of if you mixed up Subnautica and FTL.
Yeah.
So it's a team-based submarine game where you're playing, an individual member of the crew and have to, run around to various duty stations to, basically try to keep the sub running and complete your missions.
Mm-hmm.
However, some of the more unique elements from what I've seen so far is it seems to have a fairly sophisticated engineering system. So, for example, you have to actually wire together all of the various devices on the ship, that sort of thing. And if you sprung a leak, it can, short out the wiring. And so it looks like there's considerations of whether you have redundancy or not, those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that's interesting is it actually takes place, I think, on Europa. So, on some alien moon with, I don't know, alien crocodile monsters probably or something.
Sounds like a problem.
Yeah, I'm just going through the tutorial right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's super I would describe it as Eurojank, except I don't think it's a European team. But for example, one of its selling points is it makes a lot of use of ragdoll physics.
Okay.
So if a leak suddenly gets sprung, or you open up a pressure lock to a flooded room or something, the water will sweep in and knock you off your feet, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
However, there's also things where if you get to the bottom of a stairs and keep trying to climb down, your character will kind of just fold at the waist like a pretzel.
Okay.
I give up.
Yeah. So it's I think it's still early access, so it's understandable that it's kind of janky, but I don't know. I'm interested to see. It was $8.
Right.
I also want to say it's spelled BARO trauma, not like you're borrowing somebody's trauma.
Yes.
No, as in barometric.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pressure. Yeah.
Right. It's also with their weird super blocky font they use, it looks like it just says Barotrauma.
It does.
Which I don't know. I think I would play that fantasy game.
I resent the idea that trauma makes better bards.
Yeah. Just shouldn't be necessary. Yeah.
Oh no, you have to suffer for your art. You normies wouldn't understand.
Is it possible to play this single player? I've been curious about this. This has been popped up in recommendations, but I've always been anything that leads with co-op. It always is scares me off a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely leads pretty strongly with co-op. I know it does have AI crew.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked up online, and it seemed like a number of people said, yeah, it's very playable without that. I think
Gotcha.
it's something where you kind of build your ship around that.
Okay.
However, I have to see. It might be something where I end up just getting steamrolled.
Yeah. Seems like it would be a limiting factor at the very least.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
The electricity like piques my interest. That was something I kind of fell into when I played Rust, was like wiring things up. It's a weird feature to enjoy deeply.
Yeah, I think the element of that I've seen so far, and like I said, I've just scratched the surface, but that's one of those things that's like really obvious in retrospect, but I've never have thought of is you can get like water sensors. So you can, rig it up and like close the doors if, water gets into the room, or like, I don't know, shut down the electricity or whatever. And I don't know, that to me, maybe that's obvious, but it just strikes me as very clever.
Yeah.
You also have to, or at least can, like, balance the heat in your sub's nuclear reactor.
Okay. Is there like are there functional things you can do with the heat discharge, or is it just something that you have to mitigate?
I think it's something you have to mitigate. I know if you set it too low, you'll can have brownouts, and if you set it too high, it can either overheat or have power surges. I'm assuming there's scenarios where that would be a problem, but I don't know for sure. Mm-hmm. I could see something. Technically, I think Europa is like covered in ice, and so I could see a scenario where like maybe if you get low enough, the temperature gets too low, and you have to like readjust things. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There was this is a tangent, but there was a cool proposal to like monitor Europa, as you put a small ball that's radioactive on the planet so that it slowly warms up the ice that it's on and like drops down into the ocean and then monitors. But there is like a ethical concern of like throwing irradiated things on another planet that we haven't been to yet.
Yeah, that is throwing. You never know when you're going to stumble across that thing again.
Mm-hmm.
No.
What's the worst that could happen?
If the Expanse has taught me anything, those moons are where bad shit happens.
I mean, in the Expanse, everywhere is where bad shit happens.
This is true. That's kind of the lesson of that sci-fi and a lot of stuff is people are the bad shit that happens.
Yep. It's like I always say, the sooner humanity embraces nuclear war, the sooner we can embrace ending human suffering.
That's some rogue AI logic. Yeah. Nice. So anything else?
That's why they don't let me balance the nuclear reactors.
Yeah, I'll be curious to hear more as you get more into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ben, how about you?
Yeah, I'll talk about the old ones for a little bit first, and then I'll talk about one new one. I played Gloomhaven this last week with a 4-player party, which I hadn't done before. It turned out really well. We had a fun time. We played, I think, maybe 2 or 3 missions, and it was actually easier than I expected. So I think I'd kind of been warned about it being difficult with the more players that you had, but I didn't really find that to be the case. Maybe we just have like a well-balanced party or something, but it seemed to work out pretty well. And then the other thing that I found out too is there is a way to do an evil run-through successfully. You just have to do missions for the evil people. It's that easy. So it was not done through any of like the random events that you do, but yeah, if you do some of the evil like side quests and main quests, your reputation drops super fast, and so you can unlock the character that you can get through having an evil reputation that way, which looks really cool. But none of us have retired yet, so we haven't gotten that person yet.
So I had thought Gloomhaven was predominantly a dungeon crawler. Is there more to it than that?
I mean, yes. Like gameplay wise, maybe not. But like all the things that you're playing are in a dungeon, but I mean, but it's kind of like a D&D campaign where there's like an overworld. You're choosing where to go. You have like kind of like FTL, since we referenced that earlier. You have like situational events where you take a side and do something that has like either short-term rewards or punishments. Yeah.
So you have verbs other than kill.
Yes.
Specifically
But,
when you're not like actively inside of a dungeon at a given time. Like that's when you do. Like,
I don't want to like oversell it because there's not much more beyond that. But
right.
There are some things beyond the dungeon part. But that's about it. It's not like there's like a whole other mechanic like of other game types that you play instead of dungeons. Like you're always doing dungeons, but they do a decent job of mixing it up and having like a kind of one-off type mission once every like 5 to 10 or so, where it could be a boss battle or it could be a weird situation you're put in where there's a rule change. So yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah. So I was happy with that. I unlocked a few characters in the solo campaign that I'm doing with it as well. So I have one that I'm interested in pursuing. I think without spoiling too much, the strategy seems to be their cards kind of emphasize bringing back items that you burn. Oh. So you want to try and like find really, really good items that are worth bringing back and try and build around that, which seems like an interesting strategy. And that's like a point that I've been really happy with is every character does a good job of differentiating itself and having like a unique thing that they're going for. So I think that's like a lot of the lasting power of the game is like wanting to play each and every race that you unlock and just kind of see how it goes. So, yeah.
Can you play as a kobold?
Kobold? Wait. No, I don't know if they have that exact thing. They have rats that are called vermlings, and that might be close, but maybe not. I don't know. Close. Yeah, not much to say besides that. Still playing Storybook Brawl. It's still Storybook Brawl, but I'm playing that instead of Magic Arena since I haven't talked about that in months and months. So it's nice to play a game that does not periodically charge you money. So that's also nice.
Nice.
And the new game that I have to talk about is a game called Spiritfarer that I picked up on the Thanksgiving Steam sale.
I'm curious about this one.
Yeah, it was rated highly, which is usually my metric for trying out new games. Mm-hmm. It's kind of...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like a boat-based death simulator type game.
You're playing like a ferryman. You're ferrying people to the afterlife.
Yeah, that's the premise of the game. You're taking over Karen's job. They're like retiring. I guess they had that option, but they just were holding.
You mean Charon, not somebody who wants to see the manager. Yeah.
But the theme is incredibly cute. It's not like gothic or downtrodden at all. Mm-hmm. And you're given this giant boat base that you can build buildings on. I've played it for only about 2 to 3 hours. So I'm only like kind of getting into it, but you start picking up companions. Some of them from, I guess, your life. Mm-hmm. And maybe some of them are random, but they all take on forms of animals. So there's like a frog, a snake, a deer, and you're just hanging out with them and kind of exploring this world with them. Mm-hmm. Eventually, the premise is you're taking them to the afterlife. So eventually when they're ready to die, then you take them to a place and like send them off. So there's going to be, kind of like punches to the gut, I guess, emotionally, like while playing it, mm-hmm. but they're doing a good job of like having you befriend them first. And so
they're getting you invested.
Lull them into a false sense of security.
Yeah, they want to earn the feels on this one. And so, but yeah, so you're just hanging out with your animal companions. They all have personalities. They all like encourage you to build different buildings on your boat that do different functions. And there's kind of like not exactly a factory simulation type game, but kind of like there's a tech tree that you're kind of like building up through. Like, for example, one character encourages you to build a loom on the boat so you can start making thread, and then you can use that to unlock more buildings and more things.
Mm-hmm. No, it's the boat of doom. No. Just the boat of loom. There's
a really cool mechanic where it basically gives you like a kind of a gridded like XY axis sort of thing where you can put the buildings and you can edit them and rearrange them and stuff, and it's just like a very like pleasant experience, and like that's like upgradable if you get enough resources, and you eventually have to do that because you kind of run out of buildings. But just like designing it, and it's adaptive, like where the ladders will go so that you can reach these buildings. It's just a very pleasant experience. You can go fishing off the back of the boat, and there's a fishing mini game. You can hug all your companions, and they have like a happiness meter to them. There's a kitchen, and you can make them food, and they have different tastes of what they're interested in. It's a very bizarre game. It's the only thing that I can say about it right now is it's a very like pleasant game. With like it has a tech tree underpinning to it, but it's a very pleasant death themed game. Probably the most pleasant death themed game that I've played so far. So
something that go ahead.
Sorry, is there ever anyone that just refuses to go to the afterlife?
We'll find out. I haven't seen that yet, but I haven't even ferried my first person to the afterlife yet. So
There's something that's not going to come through if people haven't seen this. We can't convey an audio, but this is a gorgeous video game. Not only is the art style very good and hand drawn, very pleasant, with nice nice coloration, really good treatment of light, but also like the animation is ridiculously lush. Character animation and just like individual little cycles that they have. That is difficult to do. The fact that they have nailed it as hard as they did, I think raises this so many notches in my estimation in terms of like the effort that has gone into it.
Yeah, and it's something that you kind of take for granted just because, like, you did a great job of describing it. There's like, and there's like a lot of subtleties too. Like, there's a different jump animation if you're like sliding off of a corner of a building versus just a regular jump. There's like a lot of care put to all of that stuff, and it works pretty well because it's a very like immersive experience. You're not really taken out of it at all. And like you have a little cat companion who follows you around too that you can lean down and give a hug to at any time, and it's like there's a lot of like adorable things in it. So it's an interesting game to play. It's not. I don't know if it's something that I've played anything quite similar to it in the past like 4 or 5 years. So it's definitely something different. I'll be interested to see where it goes and where like the tech tree like progresses towards, because it's kind of like two kind of weird features, like max minning a tech tree to try and make a very efficient boat and having pleasant experience with characters. It's like kind of two different components kind of jammed together, but yeah,
I'm just looking forward to when you unlock the trap thing from Ghostbusters.
Yes, that's how you send them to the afterlife, I guess, huh?
You just skip out on like, all right, I'm tired of all this, talkie. We're just sucking you in and dumping you over the side.
Man, now that would be that'd be a very interesting game where it's like they're all helping you to progress this tech tree, and eventually it leads up to this one machine that kills them all. That would be an interesting game.
Just a big old spiritual buzzsaw. Nice.
But I think that's the only new thing I got. So
cool.
Yeah, that's all I got for this week.
Yeah. Spiritfarer is a thing that I have seen is kind of a movement in cozy games. That kind of seems like an emblematic entry in that games that kind of exist to be cozy. So for me, I finished up Mirror Layers over the past weekend.
Sweet.
Yeah, that is the horror game that is very puzzle heavy, where you have the in-game social network that acts as a hint system.
Is the end game just trolling people?
No, you can do it though. Some people write in character, some people are real to the point, some people are trying to be funny. It's real neat. I have some complaints about like a lack of fit and finish and like weird signaling in certain places. Like none of the like boss sequences with the like the chases and things especially like work for me. But like I would say if you are looking for like not only real good puzzles, but an excellent way built in to get you past roadblocks. Mirror Layers is a really it gets my recommendation. I would say that like the puzzles in this are incredibly thought provoking. You know, it's easy to overthink. It's easy to miss a particular detail, but once you notice it, it unlocks everything. It's real neat. It's longer than I expected it to be too. Like it ended up being like 6 sessions or so, 5 or 6. So, if you are looking, generally horror games, especially ones that are, the first person walking around in a limited environment, and those tend to be relatively short things, this one will give you a good amount of bang for your buck, I would say, especially if you really let yourself kind of chew on the puzzles.
Very cool.
Yeah. No, it turned out real well, and I have not seen an awful lot of people talking about it. So it'd be cool to it's cool to spread the word. Yeah.
Do you ever get any help from Twitch chat for any of the puzzles?
Occasionally, yeah. So I had two sources of help. Generally, people had been very good about not backseating though, which is nice.
2 sources of like meta help too.
I know, right? Help from outside the game. Yeah. So
help from beyond.
Yeah. So this next one is not one that I'm proud of, but I'm also not going to apologize for doing it. Been real bummed out with the state of the world, and just wanted to kind of put on a bit of a just a nice warm let's say sweater of nostalgia. So again, all of us picked up something on sale over Black Friday. GameStop had the Switch version of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot on sale, and I was like, I'm not going to rewatch Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is ridiculous. It's full of filler, and I know that they have that one version that cuts out a lot of the filler stuff, but even then, I don't necessarily trust it. However, I have a lot of nostalgia for the old Toonami days, right? So I figure I forget what it was, if it was 20 or 30 or whatever, it's like, I'm just going to fire this up and I will play until it gets, it's not enough for me. This is an action RPG. Where it is the story that is just a retelling of Dragon Ball Z from the Saiyan saga up through the Buu saga. There's DLC for additional things that link it to other things. I don't have nostalgia for those other things. I have nostalgia for Dragon Ball Z. You're playing as Goku. And occasionally you are taking control of other people. I have not gotten beyond the Saiyan saga, so, played a little bit as Piccolo, doing a little bit of playing as Gohan. So he's doing his training. Vegeta and Nappa have just shown up, and they're getting ready to destroy the world and take Gohan and go and destroy other worlds and do whatever dumb thing they're going to do. This is a little bit like it's a weird combination of like open world, but also very linear. In between story events, you can wander around and do side quests. I'm not necessarily very interested in doing those because the side quests are adaptations of the filler episodes, which
that's funny.
Yeah. So it's actually kind of neat because like you can decide how much of that you want and you get little gameplay rewards. This is not a difficult game.
I was going to say, does skipping all the side quests put you at a disadvantage?
Not necessarily, no. This is a pretty easy game, and this is it is a criticism that I have seen of it. And in fact, they added in for the Switch version, they added in a difficulty mode select, so you can make it harder if you want to. I'm not necessarily looking for anything challenging, either narratively, gameplay wise, spiritually, emotionally. I just want to retreat into this thing for a little bit. The fighting system is very strange. I've not really played anything quite like it because nothing plays out quite like a Dragon Ball fight. With everybody kind of flying and teleporting and shooting energy beams. The system is very well adapted to that. You are flying through the air. You're locked on to enemies, and it's not so much like combo based. You're not entering Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or anything like combos or anything. You are doing your attacks. You are managing when you block and when you dodge. There are block escapes that you can do. So like if somebody is like pummeling you and you're blocking, you can counter that if you have enough energy to do like a little teleport to get behind them and smash them into the ground. So if they overextend themselves, you can get around them. If you're at a distance or if you're up close, you have like super attacks you can do if you have enough energy, and also you can like assign teammates to fight with you for like group battles, and you can like call in their particular attacks to help you out. So like Krillin will do his solar flare to blind the enemy, so you get extra criticals on your next little barrage. It's real simple stuff like that, right? And yeah, it is kind of tappa. It is like a brawler in that sense, but like it is just very quickly and very sprightly. Like I'm most of the way again through the Saiyan Saga, and I've been playing for like 3 hours, just like, you know, for a half hour to an hour before bed, just laying down again, putting on that warm sweater of nostalgia. We'll see how far I get. I want to at least go until my boy Future Trunks shows up. But
how many like characters are playable versus just in the game?
You end up being like, they can be playable quite a bit. The game controls which character you're gonna play as, but the point of view jumps around depending on what is necessary for the story. Yeah. So I wish that there was more to say about it, but like real simple action RPG that is like just engaging enough and like moves you through the story beats of this. Admittedly, I mean, like in one of the episodes, a character blows up the moon in order to stop somebody from transforming into a gigantic monkey. Like it's dumb as paint, but it's also, that's just kind of what you're here for. So
if you had never seen the show,
I'd be lost.
Would you be completely lost?
Oh yeah, I would be completely lost. There's a lot that is, you know, again, it's not overly complex, but there's an awful lot of like knowledge that is assumed, you know, characters who will pop up, and you're just kind of supposed to understand that, like, okay, they're a good guy now, but they're talking like that because they used to be a bad guy. They were a bad guy for an arc in the previous series, but now they're good, and they used to be really strong, but the fact that they're being beaten up now is supposed to communicate something about how strong the new guy is.
This is why I can never watch another Marvel movie.
You got to start back from the beginning. Oh man, I completely lost. I have no bearing. I have no point of reference for an Eternal. Yeah. Yep.
So, does this have the driver's license episode? Is that covered?
Famously, that is a side quest in this.
Yeah. Yes.
I've not gotten to the side quest. Yeah, that is an infamous filler episode where, again, Goku and Piccolo, these two literal aliens, for some reason,
can fly faster than the speed of sound.
Yes. Yeah. And can teleport. That's just a thing they can do. Yeah, they have to, for some reason, take a driver's test, and hijinks ensue. I think that is a smart idea for them to offload that stuff off to side quests for either fans or people who are, you know, wanting to be completionist to a certain degree. Yeah. So I threw out a bunch of shit there, and I should have asked, does everybody here have experience? Like, has anybody here not dipped into Dragon Ball Z? Like, has this been just completely alienating to you?
I'm assuming it's like Pokemon Yellow, and I'm thinking of that in my mind.
Weird timing though. Just recently I started watching Naruto with my kids.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah. So
Nice.
it's in that vein, but I'm more familiar with that than I am with DBZ, but not super familiar with either.
Yeah.
All of the characters, except for Sasuke, get better after the time jump.
Yes. What I couldn't remember is post time jump still pretty kid appropriate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't get all fucked up like Full Metal Alchemist does.
Right. And I figure worst case scenario, I can do all the Saturday morning stuff. There's like, I don't know, 6 seasons where they derp around and don't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, now for the real show again.
Yeah. So Sorry, this is going to turn to the anime podcast. The show is much, much better if you skip the filler. Mainly because one of the problems with the show is it has pretty much one very specific message it's going for. And the problem is once you factor in the filler, it goes from like that being the thing this story is about to that being the thing that has shown up in like 10 different arcs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, the filler in Naruto, they have the kindness to group it all into the middle. Like it's good stuff in a block at the start, and then filler all in a block in the middle, and then good stuff in the, I think, Shippuden or whatever stuff at the end. Is DBZ kind of filler spaced throughout, or how does that work?
It's real strange. Like sometimes in between arcs, they will have it. Sometimes it interrupts. There are filler episodes that are just kind of like literally just the run up to a fight. I mean, just kind of like, okay, they're going to spend most of this episode powering up, and we're going to like cut back and forth between them yelling and also like monologuing about how they got here. Having a
flashback to the same animation from the episode before.
Yeah. It's a pacing nightmare. Which I can neither excuse nor say, just like I was there for it when I was in 5th grade. Because I was there for a bunch of the stuff. Like anybody who is even slightly younger has lived in a world where anime has been, you have had a selection of good things, and also you've been able to like get it, much more on demand. With this one, you had to make a point to catch either the afternoon showing or the 11:30 showing, or you were lost. It was like watching a soap, and you were at the mercy of whatever Cartoon Network decided to show on Toonami, which I understand is not all great stuff, but it's stuff that I have a certain amount of affection for. I understand that Gundam Wing is bullshit compared to the rest of Gundam. Also, I don't care. Those models were very fun to put together. Again, when I was in 6th grade, so yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you're getting that emotional snuggie of a game.
Yeah. We'll see how far it goes. I'm perfectly fine cutting bait if it ends up getting slow. There's some rough shakes coming up, at least story wise. But who knows? They might like understand that this part of the anime sucked and was really saggy, so let's tighten it up. I got no idea. We'll see how they do. But so far it has been neat. Yeah.
It feels like the ideal holiday break game.
Yes. Yeah. Just nostalgic times anyway, seeing people you don't always see from a while back. And yeah. It is neat.
I feel like now I'm just imagining what would the Toonami appropriate cut of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood be?
I don't know. Did they show that on?
They showed the original.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it. Like, I don't know if it's as obvious in the original that, like, all the characters are Nazis.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I have not been doing a whole bunch of other stuff aside from, like I said last time, being nose to the grindstone on Fallout 4. And Fallout 4 is a good game. Is my opinion on Fallout 4. But you can go and listen to WoW.
You met the Private Eye. Is that Nick?
Oh yeah. I've beaten all the main game stuff. I'm doing the DLC now. Nick rules.
Oh, okay. Nice,
Nick Valentine's great. The only side character that I end up liking a little bit more is Curie. But just because she's funnier than Nick to me, but Nick is also very funny and a good guy. So
I liked her. I liked the guy that's the spy for the railroad.
Yeah, Deacon.
Yeah, he's very good, and I love the fact that they programmed in him to randomly wear any clothing that you put in his inventory.
Yep. Yeah, and he shows up in other scenes too. He is watching you generally before you go to the railroad. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's me, and that sounds like a segment.
Multiplayer.
Now it is time for the multiplayer, where we ask you a question and then you answer it. Dennis, what is the question that you ask the nice people?
Yeah, most of the time a good control scheme will fade completely into the background, but every once in a while a quirky or innovative control scheme will stand out in a good way. So the question is, what control schemes stand out to you as particularly interesting and additive to the game?
Yeah. And we'll get started here with Alex, who says, Ape Escape. Hands mother humping down. They capitalized it and then made it look like weird runes rather. Hands mother humping down. I felt like a master of 5D checkers once I got my head around the controls. Yeah, Ape Escape. Back when dual analog sticks was a novelty.
System seller.
Is 5D checkers like 4D chess or something?
I don't know.
Spoken like someone who only understands 3D chess.
Oh man, I'm embarrassed for you that you think to ask that question.
I mean, is it all chess? 3D if you count time as one of the dimensions.
Yeah.
Oh, now my head hurts.
I don't know. It like everything, 4D. It all comes down to your assumptions.
I mean, there's a 5D chess on Steam. I already bought it and returned it because it was too smart. It was too smart for me. Okay.
Yeah, it's like weird time travel chess. It was very. Your description of it really got under my skin. Sweet. Yeah. Ben, what does Ollie say?
Ollie says, I know it is not something a lot of people enjoy, but I love tank controls. They just feel so intuitive. Well, I guess that's one surefire way to tell someone your age without telling someone your age.
So that's like one stick controls one side and the other stick controls the other?
I believe Ollie might be referring to like Resident Evil tank controls. Usually when somebody alludes to tank controls, they're talking about left and right pivot, whereas up will move you forward and back will walk you backwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about what you were describing, David, where it's each stick controls a tread.
Yeah, that's Katamari is what that is. Yeah. David, what does
the Katamari main battle tank?
David, what does Chris say?
Chris says RE4 on the Wii. RE4 on the Wii.
Okay. You did do it twice.
Still my favorite version of motion controls ever.
Yeah. No, like that is a weird one because that does get rid of some of the point of playing Resident Evil 4, but I really enjoy it.
Did that fix it all? I remember one of the issues with RE4 being there being no way to strafe. And so RE4
doesn't have RE4 doesn't have strafe again, so that would the Wii version didn't have it.
Okay, yeah, because I remember there are things where like if an enemy was hiding like right inside a doorway, there was no way to like not just walk past them and then turn to try to get them before they got you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could like blind angle you. Yeah. Yeah. Dennis, what does Eli say?
Eli says, just picked up Thimbleweed Park for Switch, and I think having the buttons and a touchscreen both within my reach of my fingers is pretty great. I can tap the action I need with my left thumb, an inventory item with my right thumb, and then cycle to what I need in the environment with a shoulder button. Pretty dang neat.
Yeah, that is a good way to play that game. And also Thimbleweed Park rules. I can't believe it came out like 4 years ago.
That's the one that's like Steampunk X-Files?
No, it's not steampunk. It is X-Files-y, but it's made by the Maniac Mansion folks. And okay. the idea is like, what if there was a LucasArts adventure game that just didn't get published that you're just now playing for the first time?
Oh, cool.
Go into the phone book in that and look up my name and call the number that is there, and you will hear a little voicemail message from me.
Oh, cool.
I was a Kickstarter backer. Let's see here. Greg says, Bionic Commando games take a while to get used to due to the fact that you can't jump and need to use your grappling arm to get around anywhere. It's similar to using the web shooters in any Spider-Man game. It takes a bit to get the hang of, but soon you are zipping around as well as Peter Parker can. And considering how tough some of the challenges are in the new games, I dare say better than he can. Yeah, Bionic Commando is a good one. That is like one of the original examples to me.
Mm-hmm.
And
any game without jumping feels in a whole nother kind of class.
Yeah.
I know the Elden Ring is going to have jumping, and I don't know how that's going to go. We'll see.
Sekiro had jumping, and it was fine. It made for some neat levels.
All right game.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. The jumping was not my problem with Sekiro. It made for some cool levels.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did they? So was the justification for you not being able to jump just the fact that you have like half a ton of metal stuck to your arm?
I mean, it was more that just like it was more of a realistic jump kind of deal. Insofar as like you could, if you got a good like running start. But and your jump had way more horizontal, than vertical, because most people don't have a lot of vertical, not video game levels. Yeah. So mostly jumping ended up being a way to fall further in Dark Souls outside of Sekiro. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Ben.
Casey says the gameplay may not make up for it, but no one can deny that the Steel Battalion controller is exceptional for immersion into the game.
Yeah.
What is this?
Oh, you've never seen Steel Battalion?
I haven't.
Oh, it's super cool. Yeah, it just
this has to be from like the late 80s, early 90s.
No, this was an original Xbox game. So this was like 2003, 2004. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, super detailed mech. Like you lay out the controls on the on a table. There are pedals for you to control some of the movement. There's an ejector seat built in for like when your mech is about to destroy, and there's like a little plastic cover that you flip up to press so you can press the button to deploy it. It is legitimately one of the coolest controllers that exists.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't the one that was the From game, was it?
No, you're thinking of Chrome Hounds.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, they did a bunch. From did the Armored Core series, but specifically around this time, Chrome Hounds was more of an arcadey game with like a multiplayer, like map control, region control kind of deal to it.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Let's see. No, take a look at the Steel Battalion controller. It's neat. Let's see. David, what does Patrick say?
He says, it might be as much a controller demo as is a game, but Astro's Playground for PS5 really did help me feel like I was playing a next-gen game. And it was free.
It's a fun little platformer and very cute if you have any affection for old PlayStation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it is like a good spooky demonstration of the force feedback in the triggers and on that controller generally. Yeah.
I still need to try a PS5 controller just to see what all the fuss is about.
I'm still not used to it a year in. It's not bad. It's just strange. I still feel like I'm breaking it when the when the trigger offers resistance.
Man, I remember, I think I was in Chicago when Sony did their big 3D TV push.
Mm-hmm.
And I drove out to like a mall so I could try one of their 3D TVs.
I bet that was worth it.
Yeah, super worth it. No, if I remember correctly, what I said on the show was that I played Super Stardust HD, and being able to like see around the planet felt different.
Yeah,
but yeah, I was also in Chicago by myself with infinite time at that point. So
yeah.
But I don't know if I'm quite to the point of driving out to wherever I can find a demo of PS5 to get the feel.
Yeah.
But
A bunch of people have touched that controller. The calculus has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dennis, what does Sean say?
Sean says, Balan Wonderland. Who doesn't love every button being the jump button? Ha!
Yeah, what a disaster. Oof. I don't think Sean is being.
Name.
It's the new game by Yuji Naka, the Sonic guy, published by Square and didn't sell shit. It's legitimately one of the ugliest games I've ever seen.
Oh yes, yikes!
Yeah, the hideous aesthetic, and can't and won't.
Oh, it's the hat guy.
Yeah, the awful hat guy.
Is he not the villain?
No, that's that weird bendy guy. He looks like some kind of cum ghost. Yeah, that is that is your dude that you play as.
Ugh.
Yeah. Jeremy says the PlayStation 5 Playroom control, just to show you all the new things you can do with the controller, from the microphone, motion sensor, and touchpad. Had a lot of fun learning. Also a really fun game. I also jumped from an Xbox 360 to a PlayStation 5, so that was a pretty big jump for me. Awesome. Anything for all FromSoft game, am I right? Yes, buying a PlayStation 5 just to play Demon's Souls was effectively what I did too, so don't worry. And then Ben, what does Rookie say?
Rookie says Dive Kick is a fighting game for people who love fighting games but don't have the dexterity to be really good at them. This game uses no joystick, only 2 buttons, dive, aka jump, and kick. Within those limitations, they managed to make a real, complete fighting game, complete with different special attacks for each character. The game is 100% about just about the control scheme, and it just works.
Yeah, I think Dive Kick is a very good mechanical game, especially if you can just look at it in the wireframe. The characters and like the lol funny story stuff that creeps in is a little bit off-putting to me, but I understand that people's taste for that is different, and also people's ability to see past that is also different. But what they achieve with that simplicity is really good. That one is really fun to play in like an arcade, because the arcade button, or the arcade version, it's like the panel is just 2 big buttons. One is for jump and one is for kick. Yeah.
I want them put outside of arm's reach of each other so that I have to run back and forth.
I'll do mine here, and we can go through ours in the response order. But Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, specifically, I was surprised that didn't come up.
Good answer.
That is a game that is all about the control scheme, has a good story, like a real charming aesthetic to it. Like the last chapter of it is just extremely poignant. But the journey that you go on, learning how to control one brother with one stick and another with the other stick, and just the way that them learning to work together is mapped onto you learning how to control them at the same time, and then you start getting good at it and they start throwing harder stuff at you. It is one of the best meldings of interface and nonverbal story specifically that I have seen. That game owns.
Nice.
Yeah. Ben.
So I think I fucked up with my answer, and I answered game mechanic instead of control mechanic?
Okay.
My answer is going to be Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
And the fact that they made a serious mechanic out of attaching webs to things, and I thought that was really well done.
Yeah.
But upon rereading the question, whoops.
So there is a way that they could have made Spider-Man 2, specifically the control, that would have been complete dog shit. And the solution that they came up with to have most of it handled automatically, but still have it matter where you are in relation to buildings that are taller than you. I would say that does count. That Spider-Man 2 specifically, they saw. Not that you need a referee or anybody to give you permission.
I get a pass.
But I would say that that is they could have made it really bad. They could have done it like the Bionic Commando 3D game for the 360, where you have to consciously connect to individual things. That is not what Spider-Man is about. Spider-Man is about the freedom and joy of movement. And the decisions they made are very unusual in that I think that very few teams would have landed on something as elegant as they did.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, didn't mean to step in and answer.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
If you can answer my question or my answer better than I can answer, then I think you deserve that.
David, how about you?
Sure. So, I'm gonna cheat like always and go with 2. I think Devil May Cry, at least the ones before they switched teams. I really liked the way they kind of mapped the controls to almost a pseudo flight sim type thing.
That's weirdly tank control-y as well. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just due to how they handle a lot of things relative to Dante's position and facing.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What I really liked is the fact that basically, pulling back on the stick and doing attacks was mapped to attacks that launched you and your enemies up in the air, whereas pushing forward on the stick and attacks, if you're in the air, mapped to attacks that would either slam you down or knock your enemies down to the ground, or if you are on the ground, you would dash forward. So it was the thing where the control scheme really closely mapped and kind of felt like what you were wanting your character to do.
Yeah, no. And the fact that it was so constant helped, I think, simplify some of the chaos.
Right, exactly. That's probably the biggest thing with like DMC that I think they lost is I think they made the control scheme way too unintuitive. Despite the rest of that game being amazing, that was really sad. The other one that I think's kind of getting into Ben's sort of thing of like where does control leave off and gameplay start is Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time.
Oh, yeah.
Where the actual control scheme, I guess, if you're talking just like what buttons you press, isn't that great. But in terms of, how you control this ship by, needing to run around and, it's almost, I would say, almost like the arcadey version of FTL.
Yeah, no.
And also, I just love the fact that if 2 people try to use the same station, like the Looney Tunes style, like Cyclone, fight happens, and then they randomly, one character gets the station, the other gets kind of like thrown out of the cloud.
It's a good way to resolve, poor coordination.
Yep.
Nice. And Dennis, how about you?
Yeah, mine's pretty obscure, but there was an old Vita game called Metrico.
Oh, yeah, you've talked about
That was...
You're an evangelist for this game.
Yeah, lukewarm at best, but I loved it. It was my jam. And the whole game was figure out the controls for the game. So each set of levels, each world, if you will, different controls did different things, or the levels would respond to different things. And they used every single feature of the Vita in doing that. So touchpad, back touchpad, camera, motion sensors, it was all in there. And so getting to a new world and starting to puzzle out what to do was so much fun, because literally I'd be like walking around the house trying to find different colors because I realized that did something. And that was just really innovative and fun way to play.
Nice. Yeah. Good crop of answers all around. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for responding. If you would like to participate in these, go to facebook.com/thelevelpodcast. Watch for the prompts to go up on Monday afternoons. And thank you, Dennis, for posting this time.
The end, boss.
Now it is time for the end, boss, where we talk about things that are happening in the world of video games that are exciting to us. At this point, I'm regretting my usual path of just going in the order that they're posted in the Slack. Hey, David, what's happening with that pig?
So, scientists have discovered that pigs can play video games. And
so do you mean can or may?
Actually, ironically, a little bit, some of both. We'll get to that in a sec. I think one of my favorite things is that the headline specifically says pigs can play video games with their snouts. Just like all the people that were thinking like, I don't know, maybe they'd push it with their ears or something.
I mean, a pig could play DDR.
That's true.
Amazing at DDR.
Can it? I haven't read the article yet.
So they created a game where there's a controller, or rather a joystick, and the pig has to push it to direct a dot to hit a target. And if it does so, it gets some little treat pellet.
Oh, they're doing like a classical conditioning thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. One of the interesting things they found is that they had 4 pigs in the study: Hamlet, Oblet, and Ebony and Ivory. And although all pigs demonstrated the ability to play the game to a degree that like suggests they actually understood it. They differed significantly in how good they were at the game, particularly as the game got more difficult. It sounds to me like maybe in more difficult modes, like the targets were smaller or something.
Yeah.
But they're saying, they went anything from like one of the pigs had a 76% hit rate, whereas one of the others had like 34%. Apparently part of this is just the fact that like, hey, snouts aren't the most, easy to use, way to control a thing. They probably wouldn't come up in our multiplayer.
Right.
And also, apparently, pigs have very poor close-range eyesight.
That's true for a lot of quadrupeds, actually. Yeah.
Well, I mean, because if the tiger's next to you, you're probably already dead.
Right.
It's kind of a fist of the North Star thing. But the other thing that was interesting is that at some point during the experiment, this goes back to the can versus will. At some point during the experiment, the food machine broke. However, the pigs kept playing the game when, quote, encouraged by some of the researchers' kind words.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like maybe this was the pig equivalent of like, "Are you winning, son?"
the uncomfortable underpinning on this, I say,
yeah,
this is
you winning, Sal?
No.
The uncomfortable underpinning of this, and I say this is somebody who eats pork products, is that pigs are actually spookily smart. As far as livestock goes, especially. And so, yeah, I can see them being switched, just like a dog, right? Obedience training or training a dog to do a trick. You transfer from the click plus the praise plus the food to just the click and the praise, and then just to the praise.
Yeah, like capitalism.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like we're all rats in a maze. Yeah, no. So the fact that pigs can adapt to this is not terribly surprising, but very cute.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah, extremely cute. I've got one. This may be confirmed by the time this episode comes out, but I want to get a jump on it anyway, because this is kind of also a recommendation. So the PlayStation Plus games for December have not been announced as of yet. However, it's been rumored that the lineup for PlayStation Plus games for December will include a game that we discovered last year on Bonfireside Chat that I would recommend because it's pretty good. Mortal Shell. This is a Souls-like game where kind of the main gimmick is that you do not have a block. However, you can always press a button to turn yourself into stone, to turn like wherever you are in an attack animation, to briefly deflect an attack as it comes in. And it is also like it's got a good kind of difficulty to it, and it's relatively short as well. I would say if you have PlayStation Plus and this thing drops, and you're looking for something Soulsy, especially to tide yourself over for Elden Ring that's coming out, Mortal Shell, it may have you may have missed it on your radar. I would say give it a shot. It's real cool.
So we've evolved from Kole doing stories of this is the thing that exists to this is the thing that's rumored to exist.
Yeah. And pretty soon I will say tales of things that could never be.
Also, this is was recently added to Game Pass. So
Oh, cool. Yeah.
The probability of it being on Plus is super high then.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I would say give it a look. It is worth your time.
So I'm watching the trailer, and there's a bunch of martial weapons in here, and then suddenly rocket launcher.
Yeah. It's your one
Did I see
range.
that right?
It's your one ranged weapon. That's kind of like a bazooka. That is very difficult to get, and it is not as useful as it seems. It is mostly for pulling enemies.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you can only have one ranged weapon, might as well make it a rocket launcher.
Yeah, why not? Do you know a better way to do it?
I do not. Also, Mortal Shell balances out the fact that the other game is apparently going to be Godfall.
Oh yes, yeah. I don't know anything about Godfall.
Yeah, we called it out, or I called it out as the only game to get demade from PlayStation 5 to PlayStation 4.
Oh god.
It was supposed to be a PlayStation 5 exclusive Destiny-like, and nobody played it, so they ported it backwards.
Well, yeah, because only
PS4.
4 PlayStation 5s existed, and at least 5 PlayStation 4s existed, so it was a net positive.
Yes. I think there are, if you like the Destiny style, there are redeemable things about it, but overall, just go play Destiny.
Yeah. Let's see, Dennis, what's going on with Halo?
Yeah, man, people were salty about that battle pass, which fine, we all are constrained in terms of time, and so things that take a huge investment, I can understand being frustrated about that. But the cool thing to see is that 343 Industries is listening. And they said that, hey, fixing this is top of mind for us a couple days ago. And then today, Tuesday when we record, they have patched the Battle Pass progression so that now instead of getting 50 XP per win, no matter what the game is, you get 300 for your first win, 200 for the next couple wins, and then 100 for the next couple after that.
Okay.
Leading up to you being able to get enough XP to level up by playing 6 games in a day.
As opposed to, what was it total before?
20.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's too many games. Wait, too many games of Halo,
you weren't
too.
required to do that in a day. I think people, so someone did the math and was like, look, if the average rate of games played per day is around like 10. And if you do that, you will complete the battle pass with like 3 or 4 weeks to remain in the pass. So like people were going to get there, but everyone wants the shinies at the end, and we're feeling frustrated that they weren't getting there fast enough. So
wow,
this is a concession from 343 on that front.
Yeah, just the price psychology of this stuff makes absolutely no sense to me.
Well, and the way we enjoy games today, we collective the gaming base, I guess. I don't know what to call it.
You got a mouse in your pocket?
Yeah. But has changed so much. Now it's like, oh, well, it's not enough to enjoy playing Halo, which is a incredibly polished shooter. I need to get enough XP or this is not fun.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Fine.
The intrinsic reward is not enough for me. I need extrinsic reward.
I need the meter that goes up after every match to be shinier. More bleeps and bloops telling me I did good.
Yeah.
See, the problem.
Can I just have a slot machine? Can I have a Halo themed slot machine, please?
I'm positive one of those exists.
Maybe.
There might not be one in existence unless it's come out in the last few years. Could be wrong. I'm not familiar with the one.
Okay.
See, I feel like the core problem with that approach is then you're competing with Warframe.
That is fair.
Yeah. Cool. So they have they have addressed the fans. Ben, are you still Googling, or is it bad if I throw it to you right now?
I am done Googling. I don't think there is one for IP stuff like that. Usually they're like big deals. They have to be picky about.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Gotcha.
Not so
Are they like, Space Trooper? It looks just like Halo, but they don't use the name machines.
Probably. I don't even know if there's that or not. There's like, that's the other thing, is they're very like grounded. It's similar to the themes of the casinos themselves, where it's like hot theme, like desert theme, like do something like that. Whatever. It's all dumb.
Although apparently Halo Reach contained a slot machine.
That could work.
Yeah,
Sure.
Oh, that counts. I'm still
that counts. Yeah.
It was a Warframe slot machine. What the hell?
Ben, you got two of them. I'll let you just. I won't allude to them. I'll just let you go.
Two small ones. First one was a headline that I was like, oh, okay, cool, good thing. GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition remains cursed. Physical release is delayed. And it's like, okay, yeah. Don't release like a broken game. That sounds good. Click on the article, read it a little bit. It's delayed 10 days and still is coming out before Christmas.
Oh, that's fine. No, that's good. No, it'll be fine. It'll be
okay. I know how
much code you can shove into a disc in 10 days.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be honest. It's not like Rockstar is known for forcing their developers to work tons of overtime to meet unrealistic deadlines.
Yeah, just completely alien to the endeavor.
Like all the actions they're taking are so like disingenuous. Anyway, this is like weird venture. Who gives a shit? Like, I'm not going to buy it. Everyone, I mean, you already have the game probably, or I don't know if you're whatever. And none of this matters. But but like things that they've said are like, okay, we're still going to release this before Christmas. We'll patch it until it gets to a quality that it deserves.
Yeah.
And it's just like, go fuck yourself. That's like really shitty. And then the other thing is like they issued an apology about like it being low quality. And then as like a way of like making amends, they put back the original trilogy things, but only on the Rockstar store, not on like Steam or anything like that. And to their credit, they did give people who bought the definitive edition free copies of those games in their library.
Okay, that's good.
On the Rockstar. That part's good, but it's like, okay, so you're still not going to make it widely available like the previous game. Like you're going to patch the game so it's going like the Cyberpunk route, which is like, I don't know.
You're still going to ship like, if a kid, a kid, you don't get a kid. Also, why would a kid want to play this old ass game? No, you
I'm
give
sure
it to,
only kids want to play this game. Come on now.
I mean, I don't know. Man, and then they're going to fire it up on Christmas, and they're not going to be able to update it because the network will be down. Just a mess.
Yeah. Anyway, how not to launch a game, I guess, or like, hey, why don't you make something first and then release it when it's done,
or play it before you release it, because it kind of seems like they didn't do that. would be a good would be a good step, one imagines.
And then the other small story I have, I don't know how many people are interested in this at all, but there was an announcement today that larger Twitch streamer Ludwig, I think we did one story on in the past when he did a subathon for a month, is moving to YouTube for streaming now. And so this was maybe a big announcement. I don't know. Ever since like I don't know, we didn't really talk about the Twitch leaks, I don't think, as a news story from like a couple months ago.
No. It was all of the earnings stuff was released. I'm sure you can find my information there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. And there was like websites for a while where you could like there was like a copy of the DB, but it got taken down. But then you could go to the Wayback Machine, but then that got taken down.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's kind of been like a general sentiment for Twitch streamers like not really liking Twitch, or kind of like not feeling very good about the relationship they have with the platform.
Yeah.
So this is kind of one of the first bigger moves of somebody moving off the platform. So it'll be interesting to see if that is like a one-time thing and that person does but nobody else does, or if that starts movement or whatever. But yeah, anyway.
I think that
surprised you can't stream to both at once.
for certain services you can, but if you're a partner or an affiliate, then that gets a little bit like weird because they
You
can
have a contract.
Yeah, they can technically enforce some aspect of the contract in order to, there has to be like, any of your content needs to be exclusive to our platform for 24 hours or something like that. So like archives can't go up like immediately. It's weird. Whenever you get to the point where you're making money from it, they can exert control over you in a way that I can understand why somebody would rankle under it.
And then there was an interesting like explanation video that they had for why they were leaving the platform. And one thing that I thought was interesting was they were saying that like they felt like they got like zero like recognition or thankfulness for doing the subathon and being like the single most profitable month for a single streamer for the platform. And I don't know. So like just general kind of like. And anyway, whatever.
I don't know. Like, what would you call that? Client relations, customer relations, or like that's important. That's a thing. It's hard. Especially at any size, but like it's hard to do. But that doesn't make it less important. So.
It's just like an ever confusing business where it's like, I don't know how Twitch is making money. I guess it's through ads, but but I don't know if they're turning a profit or not. And
it's through companies that have been told they need to get into streaming as an advertising medium, and so they throw money at it until they realize, I don't know how this works. Yeah,
I mean, also because I have no idea if they're like P&L is merged with Amazon's or whatever, but the fact that you've got just Prime money being siphoned into it too, that also is kind of playing it's kind of playing fast and loose a little bit with like what it means for that kind of thing to turn a profit, and not do like a mixer, not pull a mixer.
The economy is very weird. Like every aspect of it is weird.
The thing is that money isn't real. We made it up.
Yeah. But then even like the parasocial aspect of it is like something that seems like it's a newer thing with this platform than compared to like, I mean, I guess you had a similar thing with like the concept of celebrity and like Hollywood.
But there was more of a wall between you and the people who are parasocially attached. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Weird. Like the fact, and that part's entirely weird too. The fact that I can ask Jonathan Blow a question and have him to respond to it is very like cool, but then strange and whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, and have it be like understood by a lot of people that if he doesn't answer it, then he's the jerk. Like which seems not that great to me.
I mean, when in doubt, assume things are awful.
Oh, man.
Was that a breakthrough for the podcast? Should we end on a breakthrough?
Maybe.
Didn't say it was a good breakthrough.
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully they have good luck. Just whatever. Hopefully it's good for them. And hopefully Rockstar gets their shit together, too. Everybody take like 5 minutes. To take a moment, drink some goddamn water.
And luckily enough, 5 minutes is exactly how much Rockstar is giving their developers.
Yeah.
Take 5 minutes, guys. Get these sprint tests done.
Take 5 minutes. It's all you'll get. How do you all feel about buttoning it up?
Let us button.
The credit.
Yeah. Dottie.
There it is.
Yeah.
Almost made it a podcast with that.
Just about. She almost blanked out the recording earlier. Yeah, no, she's being a real pill. So, oh man, So thank you so much for listening to level 495. We've got a couple of things coming up. We're gonna have to start getting the things together for the toady, which will be fun. Additionally, Duckstream is the 17th, 18th, and 19th. I am not in a position where I can plan on that right now, but I will be here real soon. So we're going to be getting more details on that as it gets closer. Watch for details at duckfeed.tv/Duckstream. And yeah, Toady, Duckstream. What else am I missing?
5 weeks from now, we're going to hit what was it, 400?
So there's going to be
we'll figure out something.
There's going to be at least a week off because of Christmas and New Year's and such. So it may be a little bit more than that, but we'll figure out some way to mark the occasion. We were talking about this in the
early next year.
Yeah. So we will think of something. However small. I was saying it is strange that 400 feels less momentous than like 500. But also, like, that would be 2 years from now, and I don't want to forestall celebration, which would be strange.
Remember, like, a long-ass time ago when we were, like, comparing to, like, ages, and we're like, oh, we're 65, blah, blah, blah. It's like, we have lost that completely. That is so far gone now.
Yeah, we're so far off the map for reasonable...
We're coming for you, Methuselah.
So far off the map for reasonable numbers. Yeah. But the other stuff, Patreon reviews, telling your friends, etc., etc. I've been Cole Ross. You can find me on Twitter at Cole Ross.
I've been Dennis Furia. You can find me on Instagram at Deck of Wonders.
I've been David Maismith.
I've been Ben Merkel.
And stick around for some titles. So I only have one. I have the Shipment of Theseus. I admit that I was real proud of that one.
Yeah.
So I do have more, although I'm a big fan of Shipment of Theseus and had that one. I also had Major FTL.
Okay.
The underling of General Puzzles.
Okay.
And We're Coming for You, Methuselah.
I have, the Shipment of Theseus, and I my vote is on that one. I've also got I'm a Trucker, Not a Fighter.
Okay. Okay.
I have Shipment something ? Because I read it like a half an hour afterwards and I couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm glad you guys got it. And then I wrote Loot to an End.
Ooh.
It just sounded nice.
Yeah.
I did also have Katamari Battle Tank.
Oh,
that's fun. Okay,
Shipment of Theseus is pretty great.
Yeah. Oh, I saw it hanging out there, and it was like I gotta take a bite of that. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Cool.
Sweet.
All right. Awesome. I'm going to go. I hope you guys have a good week. Hopefully your on call isn't bad, Ben. Hopefully,
I will say nothing because I don't want to jinx anything.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yes. And hopefully your work thing is straightened out, David.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Take care, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.